What's up everyone, Erik here and welcome to Hardware for Gamers. For those of you who are new to the channel, I typically test and review PC cases, CPU coolers, PC case fans, and video cards. This video is a teardown of the Sapphire RX 6600 Pulse. Now if you did miss or want to see my full review of this card, please check the description. After the teardown, I will redo the temperature testing to see how good the stock thermal pads and stock thermal paste is. I will also be tuning the card to see what the best performance possible this card can actually give someone. Then I'll test the temperatures and some games to see how that overclock actually affects things. So let's open it up. Okay, so here we are. This is a pretty small card. Looks like we got to take off the back plate first. Again, as always, you should probably have some sort of mat when you do this type of stuff. Getting like a GN anti-static mat, having the wrist thing is typically a good idea, but certainly not necessary. Okay, how easy is this to pop off? Oh, that actually took the whole front shroud off. Okay. You don't want to come out nicely. Come on. It's like it's glued in or something. Holy shit. There we go. Wow, that was really in there. Okay. I'll take a look at the PCB card part first. Okay, so it looks like we now need to, so this should also come off. This is just held in by thermal pads, I take it. Or is there an actual screw somewhere that's holding this in? Holding pretty well. I think there's a screw in here somewhere. Okay, I'm gonna take off the heatsink first then, just so I can get a better look. That's the screwdriver. So, not exactly a warranty sticker, but they do have stickers on here to see if you've opened it up. Not sure what W and D means exactly, but okay, so that should take this off theoretically. There we go. Oh, one of the pads stayed on. Okay, so an aluminum plate for the memory, which is nice to see. Little vapor chamber, bare copper vapor chamber. For the die itself, is this just one large? It looks like this is just one heat pipe. One long heat pipe, but it might not be. Can't really tell if it's stacked or if it's No, it's one heat pipe, one long heat pipe. And the temperatures were that good. That's pretty impressive. It just indicates how efficient these cards really are. Okay, so we got the VRMs over here. Yeah, so there is a screw there. That's why it wasn't wanting to move. There's another one here. So good thing I didn't try to force that, because that would have been bad. Okay, this should now easily come off. Wow, they got some tiny little pads on this. Ooh, those are little. Okay, so let's put this up here for now. So this is metal, it's not just plastic. There's a coating on it so that you don't short anything. And it is, so that insert is steel, that's aluminum. So that will wick away a lot of the heat from the memory. So it is, oh, okay, that doesn't quite. So it is a 6mm heat pipe. And the heatsink itself. $145 grams, which is quite light. So yeah, these fins aren't even that densely packed or anything for how, like, that's how efficient the 6600 is, because that's a very, very small cooler. Okay, let's take a look at the fans. If I remember correctly, these are screw-ins here, right? Yeah. Okay. Is it just the one screw though? It's one screw and then two little clips on the back here. I guess I'm gonna have to unplug. Wow, these connectors are like really cemented in there or something, man. Like, wow. Didn't break it, good. Don't know if all clips are quite that hard, but that was very annoying. So they got little pads on here. I don't really know what these are doing. I guess they'd be sitting on top of the heatsink to try to help stop vibrations. Of course, it's covering up model number. They come off easily enough. So model CF9010H12S. DC 12 volt, 0.35 amp. Made in China from HTK Limited. So the fans are the same. model number anyways, but there is a splitter on one and not on the other, so they're not identical. So something to keep in mind if you do need to get replacements at some point in time. So that's some pretty chalky paste. Okay, got some spacers here for things not to crush each other, which is nice to see. The VRM pad here is not quite laid out correctly. Well, okay, I guess it's on the VRMs correctly. It's not on the controller part correctly. Okay. So the thermal pad for the VRMs looks to be a 1.5 mil. And then the thermal pads for the memory that's a bit of an interesting size. It's coming up as 1.1 mil, which doesn't really make any sense to me. That's a bit better. So 1 mil pad for the memory. But we have obviously the VRMs here. The memory modules, the die, fan connector. Like I don't really like getting too much into this because I'm not Buildzoid. If you want to learn more about PCB shit, go look at Buildzoid stuff because he's Buildzoid. There are a few large heat pads here. These are quite thick. I'd go with they're like 2.5 mil. Yep, 2.5 mil. So the back of the VRMs, so they have the capacitors for the memory actually heat padded here that then the backplate can do something about it and help out. So they have the actual back of the die open so that air can just get to it, which if this is metal, I would kind of like to see that filled and then have a good size heat pad on there. Or thermal pad. But this obviously does work because everything is nice and cool. Okay, it is a day and a half later and I got all the testing done last night right before the kid got home. Now just a reminder of my test system. I'll be starting with the temperature charts. I ran these tests with the fans at 40 dBA, which had the fans at around 30-50 RPM-ish. So after the teardown, the edge and memory temperatures are within margin of error of what they originally were. So the thermal paste and thermal pads that Sapphire uses are pretty good. It matched the MX5 paste and the Thermalright pads that I replaced them with, which is nice to see. But the hotspot temperature actually went down to 66.7 C, which is outside my margin of error, although just barely. This could have something to do with the paste, but I don't think so. It's more likely something to do with mounting pressure. Likely one of the 4 screws holding the heatsink on was like an 1/8 of a turn loose, which tightening it all the way dropped the hotspot temperature a tiny little bit. Which means, based off my results here, there's really no point on removing the heatsink to replace the paste and or pads, assuming your temps are for the most part matching mine. Moving on to the overclocking, I was able to get the average clock speed up to 2380 in my testing, so that's 7% over the stock 2220. And I was able to boost the memory speed by 140, so that was from 1750 to 1890. Now doing this brought the power usage up to 120 watts. That's a 20% increase over stock. Going back to the temperature chart, this had the average edge spot temperature go up to 61.7 C. The average memory temperature went up to 60 C. And the average hotspot temperature went up to 75.2 C. So a 5 to 8 Celsius increase across the board. And again, that was at 40 dBA. Now, how did all this extra heat and power get used when it comes to gaming performance? There was a 6.2% boost to the average FPS at 1440 and a 6.5% boost to the average FPS at 1080. So something, but not really all too much, still in those mid single digits. And yes, that is in the limited game testing that I performed here. So yeah, I don't think that 20% increase in power is really worth 5 to 7% performance boost in FPS, but that's what I think anyways. What do you guys think? And I guess that is all I have for this one. So if you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're still watching and you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button and the bell icon so you get notified whenever I drop a new video. There's the HFG Discord server. It is completely free to join. All you need to do is agree to the server rules and then you get to see all of my charts. A link is in the description. There is also Patreon if you would like to support the channel directly. Again, a link is in the description. You may want to check out this video here, or maybe I'll put up the GPU playlist so you can see my other GPU testing. But as always, thank you very much for watching and see you next time.